Vita Lifestyles now live. We are live to 100 Not Out. I'm just telling you now.
We are live.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about
Hello.
that, Vita Lifestyles peeps. I instead of going live to 100 Not Out, I went live to Vita Lifestyles. Hello, everybody. I've now got this on.
How are you, Damo?
Great piece.
That was a bit funny.
I'm now
That
sorted.
was funny.
I'm now sorted.
Yes. It is always just a little bit awkward going live to Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, even the other day, I think my Instagram Explorer page is dangerous. So I saw Miranda Kerr doing a Facebook Live with Katy Perry, or an Instagram Live.
Yes.
And it's like, all right, well, here are two, seasoned professionals. And just that awkward, are we recording, waiting to just see that it's actually working. It's kind of really nice because it's very disarming. But no matter how many times you do it, I don't think you ever get used to it.
So true. Well, I think we do all right. It's a little bit casual at the start, and Summer would agree, I'm sure. Wouldn't you, Summer? You would agree that we're pretty casual just to kick it off, but then we fire, and it's kind of like you can't put your phone down moment. That's the way I think.
Oh, there we go. All right, I'm going to share that. There we go. I think so. I think I've just shared it. I don't know how to share. I'm just a bit of an unknown quantity when it comes to Facebook sharing. Anyway, I'm confused. I'm going to come back and give you my full attention and everyone on Facebook. I've got a great topic for today. I haven't told you what it is.
Okay.
I just came up with it.
All right.
Because for everyone on Facebook, we were just about to interview Arna Rubinstein, but he has had something come up. So we are going to interview Arna another time. I know Pete Lennon will be Devo because he was very much looking forward to today. But such is the nature of life that not every calendar entry on the day unfolds as you would expect. And that has been the case for Arna and us today. So we have a very exciting episode to record today, which Damo has no idea about. And
Sometimes I don't like it when you do this because
I know.
I feel like you throw me under the bus a lot.
And you know that as you grow and I grow and we grow together, I'm only going to do it more, and you're only going to unlike it, unenjoy it more and more, or like it less and less.
What I can tell you is that I will duck and weave anything that I don't want to answer.
Good. I love it. Yeah. I love it. That's it's not a squirmer. I promise you, it's not a squirmy episode.
Okay.
It's right up your alley.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll let you press the buttons because that was an epic fail last week. I couldn't press the buttons like sharing comments to save myself. Too many buttons. So I'm going to let you do that because you're so good at that and I'm not.
Multitasking.
I'm going to hit record.
Yeah.
And we are going to go. I think it's 4-2-2.
Wow.
Well, I'll just make it up. I'll say it's 4-2-2. Could be 4-2-3 or 4-2-1. But here we go. Yeah. In 3, 2, and 1. Welcome to 100 Not Out, a weekly show dedicated to helping you master the art of aging well. Marcus Pearce here with you, and gee whiz, for the 422nd time, I'm thrilled to bits to shoot down to Melbourne to my brother from another mother. He is the great change maker, one of the most respected men I know when it comes to making big decisions. I seek his advice and counsel on some of my own big decisions. He is Dr. Damien Christoph. Hello, great man.
Hello, Piercy. Thank you for the great introduction. Change maker. I don't mind a bit of change. I'm not averse to change, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of change that's got to happen right now. I have to tell you, there's a lot to get done. But thank you. How are you? How's things going up there for you in Byron Bay?
I'm very well. I'm very well indeed. The sun is shining.
People. Yeah. Guns are out.
Famous people. Pecs are out. Guns are out.
How are your pecs going with our 100 push-up challenge or 90 push-up challenge?
Feeling robust.
Look at that. Do that again. There's a bit of meat there.
I think
that's the most amount of meat I reckon. Even your arms are looking big. Good on you.
Never been bigger.
You're looking good, mate. Well done.
Same goes. I think we might have to do a group interview with our pec majors one day, and reveal the group to the world.
Yeah.
Now, I think I told you the other day, either privately or on an episode, that a lady came in to the cafe that I was at, and she's got a daughter who's 4, and the mum, she's from England, and she's lived in 2 places in Australia. She's lived in Bayside, Melbourne,
Yes.
and the Byron Shire. And I said, wow, you are more fortunate than you will ever know. And
Yes.
well, seriously,
It's
she
true.
lives in
Two of the
the most
greatest
expensive
places on the
shire in
planet.
Victoria and the
Yeah.
most expensive shire in New South Wales.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she is, and I'm not saying this stupidly. I'm saying this like this is a profound thing. She is considering going home to England to be closer to family.
Okay.
And I thought, wow, like massive change on the horizon, big decision to make. And I thought, in living the 100 not out lifestyle, we speak to so many people that have come to certain junctures in their life where they have had to make a big decision. Our guest, who will come up next week or the week after, Anna Rubinstein, he's a medical doctor by profession, but the more he became enamored with rites of passage, the more obvious it became that he had to, he wanted to leave his role as a medical doctor and focus on that. You've done this, almost like numerous times. Studied naturopathy, became a naturopath, realized there was more, became a chiropractor, studied chiropractic, did that. You've made some massive decisions. I think it'd be great to dedicate today's episode to almost like the psychology of getting your head around significant change. What do you think?
It sounds great to me because thank you. I'm glad that we are doing this topic. It's a great topic. You're right. I've been listening to a book, Simon Sinek's new book. I think I've told you about it.
The Infinite Game.
The Infinite Game, and I've got about 9 minutes to go, and about let's say 12 minutes ago, when I was listening, like 12 minutes ago in the book, so maybe a couple of hours ago, he said that. It's hard to say that, isn't it? It's like I could say maybe 35 pages ago, towards the end of the last chapter. He says that infinite thinkers, when they're in life and they think infinitely instead of finitely, they are ready to pull the trigger and move to the next thing when they realize that they've gone as far as they can in the thing that they're in. Does that make sense? Because a lot of people might stick around for a long time in something that's, as good as it's ever going to get, or it's not salvageable or whatever else. Whether that be a relationship, whether that be your location, whether that be your workspace, workplace, your healthcare provider, whatever, you may stick around just for the sake of it. But a change maker or someone who's okay with change or an infinite thinker would be ready and willing to go to the next thing in order to expand their consciousness or expand their life, their experience, all of those sorts of things. So I'm up for this chat. I love it. And this it doesn't mean that I always am comfortable with change. And it doesn't mean either that I'm always an infinite thinker, because I think at times you would shift and fall back into finite thinking. And at times you are quite happy to be comfortable and to sit where you are. And sometimes you're comfortable in the pig shit that you've fallen in. And it's warmer in there than to get out into the cold, embrace the steam, embrace the steamy poo that you're in at that time. But sometimes it's uncomfortable and you got to get out. So, who hasn't been in a situation, a situation, who hasn't been in a situation where you just kind of find yourself, okay, well, maybe this is more comfortable right now than getting out, than the alternative, until you get out and then you find that you shouldn't have been in that position anyway. It would have been better to have moved on. But, I think this is great. This is great. And I'd love to see what people say, if people got thoughts on this as well. Summer says it's the comfort zone. It's a nice, warm place to be, and it takes effort to grow. Well, that is absolutely the case.
What I would love for people that are watching on Facebook, pop in the comments some of the coolest big decisions you've made.
Yeah.
Like just some of the things that you are like that you're genuinely proud of that you made. Like I think of, for me personally, I think of starting journalism, but leaving journalism, I think, or leaving the media, that was big.
Yeah.
Leaving Australia to go and travel the world.
Yeah.
Leaving Ireland to move back to South Gippsland. Leaving South Gippsland to move up to Byron.
Yeah.
I think I'm writing down for you, like your decision to start Forage, but also the courage. I wrote down courage, the courage to end Forage. I think like significant, like you said, it's not easy. And a lot of these decisions take courage, but I love people to write down what change they made. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
When you reflect on the change that you've made, where do you think the courage comes from to follow through on that decision? Because you could say, oh, I'm going to be a chiropractor, but then you wake up the next day and go, oh, no, too hard, going to take too long to study, going to cost too much. Like, where do you think the courage comes from to follow through on a decision?
It's a great question. I think there's courage in everybody, right? And everyone is courageous. And at some point, you lose that ability to express your courage because you lose the ability to back yourself. And the times in my life when I haven't found it easy to make decisions have probably been the times when I haven't felt like I'm going to be able to back myself to win this one, or to get the job done. And so if something's in your wheelhouse, if you're comfortable with it, if you've been practicing to do something or achieve something, or you know you're really good at something, then it's easier to pull the trigger, and then express your courageousness, your courage, because it's all in us. And we saw that in The Wizard of Oz, right? Everyone's got it. So if you think about what the decision you've got to make, if you can back yourself in to give it 100%, then it's highly likely that you're going to come out with a great result. And the only time that it will go wrong is if you're flippant. And so it's not that it's courage, it's stupidity. Don't be confused. Don't confuse stupidity for courage. Like you wouldn't be courageous jumping off a cliff without knowing what's at the bottom, or without a parachute, or not knowing how to fly, whatever it is. So like there's some things that you could do that could be really silly to do, and you might write that down as courageous. But you kind of want to know what you've practiced for, what you're good at, what your strengths are, and be able to back yourself to do that. So I think that's where the courage comes from, mate. Just kind of knowing that if I'm going to do it, I'm going to give it a red hot go, or I've got the people around me that can work together to either fall on, fall with, or work with, to get the job done.
That's what I just wrote down when you were talking is other people. When I think of times of great change, I don't think I've ever made the decision without seeking the counsel and insights of people that I respect that have either gone through similar situations or have some level of perspective on what it is. Yeah. So, I know I seek your counsel a lot when I feel like there's a big decision at hand.
Yeah.
Do you, in reflection of your big decisions, the ones that have maybe worked and not worked, or however you want to call it, do you think the counsel that you've received or shunned has actually, been in parallel to the success of that decision?
Well, it's funny you say that, because sometimes you get answers to your questions that you don't like. And you can choose to discard those. Like I love using cricket analogies, and hence the reason why, we're 100 not out. That's a cricket analogy as much as it is, an aging observation. You made it to 100 and you're not out. You haven't gone yet, which is exactly what we talk about in cricket. And sometimes you get a good ball and you'll let it go. And sometimes you're told to block the ball or just bat in the V, and stay out there for a long period of time and don't swing it. But, your judgment comes in. If you're a batsman, if the ball's bowled at the right length, you know that you can hit for 4 or 6, then you'll just do that because it's instinctive, right? So sometimes you can get advice from people that you don't want to take on. And as long as you are okay with not taking that advice, and you're okay with the repercussions of not taking that advice, then that's totally fine. And the only people that will be offended by that will be those people that that would feel good for themselves if you had taken their advice, because they gave you that advice. So be okay with that. In saying that, when I look at my confidants and the people that I take advice from, and you are one of those people, close to me that I would take advice from. As Amber would be, my mum and dad would be, and probably even these days, Jackson, I would ask him some questions too. Trudy, there's a bunch of people that I would ask as my confidants to help me make decisions that would, move me in a direction in my life, in my business, all that sort of stuff. And those people will change. They'll come and go. They'll always come and go. But you just need to trust who it's going to be.
When you think of change, do you think your intuition or your hunch has played a big part in like the beginning of the seed kind of germinating into, going from just an idea to actually a live option? Like, how much do you think intuition plays, listening to your gut, your heart, when it comes to going, all right, I know it's wild and it doesn't necessarily make logical sense. Where do you sit in terms of intuition and making those big decisions?
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think intuition, if it doesn't feel right, then you can't explore it. And sometimes it feels right, but it's really wrong. And so your intuition can be off. And this is a golf analogy, right? If you're driving,
alcohol can skew your intuition.
What's that?
I said alcohol can skew your intuition.
Alcohol
it feels so right, but it's actually so wrong.
Absolutely. And you can take that anywhere. But even from a golf perspective, you could be just 2 degrees off at your strike point when you're driving the ball, but that ends up being 50 or 60 meters off 200 meters down the track, right? So that's a big deal. And so in this instance, it's great to have intuition, but also then seek the counsel of mentors or your confidants, because they can say, hang on a second, you're aiming the wrong way. And Stu Hayes used to say to me, it's just like running with enthusiasm, but in the wrong direction. And so I was talking to Dino, who used to work for us, Dino Hadzimerovic. Shout out, Dino. He was running the other day doing a marathon at Falls Creek. And he took a wrong turn, still running with enthusiasm, running down the hill thinking he's doing the right thing. Then he realized that he was a kilometre off track. And so to come all the way back, he did an extra 2 kilometres. So his run was 44 kilometres, not 42 kilometres. And so, you can go off course if you haven't got the right instruction or you haven't got the right mentors or the right leadership around you. And intuition's important, but it should be the cue to help you ask more questions of the right people. It shouldn't be the thing that you pulled the trigger on. Intuition is a hunch that gets you to explore more. Otherwise, you're gambling. So don't just go on a hunch.
I love this. You just spoke about the right people. I'm very selective. Like, I'm largely an open book, but I'm very selective as to who I open the book to, if that makes sense. So if it was a financial question, I would come to you. If it was a business owner question, I would go to my business owner friends, but not my employee friends who have never owned a business. There are some things that I would definitely ask my mum and dad some insights on, but there are other things that I just, in all love and fairness to them, I actually don't care for their opinion because it's not in their sphere of influence. Yep. It's just a different language.
Yes.
So I hear a lot of people going, well, my mum doesn't agree, or my dad or my brother or my sister, but they're about things that their family have never, ever experienced in their whole life. Traveling overseas is a great example. So many people in our generation, I'll put us in the same age group for a minute, is we traveled overseas young. Like, we traveled overseas before our parents went overseas. Like, there was a real shift in affordability of airlines. It used to be exorbitant to fly to the Gold Coast. And then it just, now it's like a lot of people are traveling overseas, not obviously today, but you get my drift.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't normally speak to your neighbor who's never been overseas, who's never been more than 5 Ks away from their home about traveling overseas, because it's a completely, a lot of, they might say, oh, it's not safe, you wouldn't do it, because that's been their experience. Not always, but their experience. What have you learned? Like, you don't have to share the specific moments, but do you have memories of, sharing your dreams or ideas or these decisions with people that were actually not the best people to throw them up against?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sounds like a bit of a list. Oh, there's this time and this time and this time and that time.
Oh, absolutely. Look, and easily the single biggest decision I ever made in my life was to move to New Zealand and leave Jackson here in Melbourne. That was the single biggest decision I've ever made in my life. And I reflect on that, and the people that I had conversations with in terms of seeking counsel around that, most people said, you're crazy.
Right.
And just under half of the people said you should go. And then I think about it now, and I look at the relationship that I've got with Jackson, the relationship I have with Amber as a result of actually going to New Zealand. The life journey I've been on as a result of moving to New Zealand and doing the TV show and then able to come back to Australia with an identity and just all those sorts of things. The Wellness Couch and the Wellness Guys wouldn't be, and 100 Not Out wouldn't be here if I didn't go to New Zealand. Like, if I didn't make the decision to go to New Zealand, none of this, what we have today, we would have. And so I think I think had I listened to the cautious ones, I would be in a different situation today. And that's a sliding door moment, right? That's a sliding door moment where I had to make the decision of my life to leave my son at the age of 3 here in Australia with his mum while I went over to New Zealand to study to be a chiropractor. But I'll tell you what that did. Because it was such a massive decision to do that, I was not going to lay down and have a mediocre experience. I was going to go over there and have an exceptional experience. And I went to New Zealand to ensure that I was going to come back having given 100%, if not more, to ensure that the sacrifice that I made for Jackson and given the enormous absence of my, of my being in Jackson's life at that period of time, except for phone calls, it had to be worthwhile. So the decision was big enough, the pain was big enough, and the payout was big enough. So it all kind of worked out at the end of the day.
That is a phenomenal response. And I hope everyone just has a little rewind of that and listen again, because I think you hit the nail on the head in that you didn't sit in the corner and rock in the fetal position when you went to New Zealand like many people could have. You didn't feel, you didn't let any guilt dominate your behavior at going there. You actually took the bull by the horns and made the most of it. You studied chiropractic. You hosted the Downsize Me TV show. You built a profile, and you came back going, the sacrifice I have made, as hard as it is to say, the sacrifice I have made has been worth it. And like you said, you reap the benefits of that decision. Your relationship with Jackson is incredible. You've crafted a remarkable career. And the relationships that you've developed in New Zealand that continue today continue to bear fruit. So it's a very poignant reflection, Damo.
PC, I reflect on you making the decision to move to Byron Bay. And at the time, you had your practice. You and Sarah had the practice. I think you probably only had Darby and Maya.
Yeah, we had 2. Yep.
And so for you going, guess what? I'm moving up to Byron Bay. And I was like, wow, far out, there's a big decision. There would have been people that you spoke to in that case, so as much as, and we haven't had any interaction from our Facebook people today. So thanks so much for your interaction, everybody. It's been great.
Oh, don't forget, they're ensconced in the conversation.
Come on, Summer. Come on, Peanut. Come on, Pete. Come on, Helen. And whoever else is watching.
They're actually really loving this conversation. Just give a little love heart, folks, if you're enjoying it. And Damo, he's just Wendy? Like a puppy dog. He's like, no one's playing with me. No one. Wendy? There you go. Oh, that's you.
That's me. I'm doing all that. So I thought I'd do some love hearts for myself. But I would love to know from you, how did you go with this? Because I would love to understand. Did you listen to everybody? Did everybody go, yes, Piercy, go for gold? That's a great idea.
Thank you. So, sorry, before I respond, Helen said it's too good of a conversation, and Pina said so engrossed in you talking, which I was as well.
Thank you.
Before
everybody.
you inadvertently pulled the trigger on our wonderful community,
and you I didn't know. I'm just engaging, making sure that they're there. Not it's I like it. Oh, yes. I
Um,
just need a little rub on my back. I did. That's so true.
there you go. There, yeah, he did. That's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
Our decision to
Thanks,
move, I
Ping.
think, was I don't know. I think for me, having the person, so the support person actually was Sarah. It actually was Sarah feeling. Sarah knew deep in her heart that she wanted to move, but we literally lived around the corner from Sarah's mum and dad. We had 2 young children, and we had a practice. So everything on paper was like, why would you move when your mum and dad are there? You've got 2 young children and a successful business. And the answer was because it wasn't as fulfilling as we knew our life could be. It was good, but it wasn't great. And we weren't willing to settle for good. It was a weird thing. We could never really look at houses in Inverloch and go, oh, I'd love to buy that. It never just did it for us. We'd rather spend our time and money on going away from where we lived than investing in where we lived. And that was a pretty big warning sign. So
you
for
wanted
us,
a good to great experience.
We did, yeah. We wanted a Jim Collins experience, and we really felt like anywhere between Byron and Noosa was it. So I think because Sarah and I were on the same page, once Sarah knew that it was okay to want it and to experience it, and I think because we'd been with her family for 6 or 7 years, it wasn't like we were deserting them. In that they'd had it very good, if you know what I mean. They lived around the corner. We had dinner every week. They saw heaps of the kids, maybe too much, but it was so good. And as many people would know, they've actually all moved here once we moved here.
When they saw the light.
When they saw the light, they've been here. We've been here for 7 years, and Rob and Jill have been here for a couple of years, and Sarah's 2 brothers have been here for a year or 2 less than us. So, when I think of that on reflection, I think I call Sarah the spiritual leader of her family. She does the risky thing, and it might not be the most popular decision, but after a while, it's like, yes, great call. But yeah, I think I do love reflecting on these decisions because it's powerful. And that's why I ask everyone watching or listening, like, reflect on your own big courageous decisions because it gives you some self-confidence and self-esteem and further courage to make the next impending decision.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, good chat, hey? Great chat.
Yeah, great chat. Nice little subject, nice little topic. I like that a lot. And if I'm sure this will bring things up for a lot of people. And everyone's on the ebb of change every second of the day. Like there's always something, a decision to be made, a path to follow, fork in the road. There's always something going on, and to approach it wisely would be to go with your instinct, your gut instinct first off, not the conservative negative Nelly that's on your shoulder. Go with your gut instinct. You know if it's right or wrong. You know if it's good or bad. It's not that you need a pat in the back for encouragement. You already know whether it's right or wrong. And if you need to, then at that point ask more questions of the people that you trust, so that you can be guided to create change and be that change maker. Because if you don't make change, then you have to be okay with what you've got.
Oh, wise words. This has been, we've enjoyed this conversation, folks. Hope you have too. To everyone on Facebook, thank you for joining us. If you're not on Facebook, join us at 100 Not Out. Spell it all out. Join in the conversation. We record most Wednesdays. Don't hold us to it, but we record most Wednesdays. Sign up for notifications on Facebook, and your phone will start buzzing wildly when we go live.
Especially if I get the Facebook page right. Then you will. Yeah.
But if not, you can listen to us where you like to enjoy your podcasts. Thanks again for joining us. Episode 422 done and dusted. For more info on Damo, head on over to DamienChristoff.com, myself, MarcusPearce.com.au. And until next time, as always, continue to make the rest of your life the best of your life.
Bye for now.
All right. Footy training awaits.
Facebook, everybody, thank you, Summer and Helen and Therese, for engaging. That was really great. And great to see you too, Pina. Thanks for engaging. And Pete,
thanks for buying the book, Pina. Pina bought the book.
Did you, Pina? Good on you. I would have thought that everybody who is here in this list would have already pre-ordered your book because they're always here supporting us. So I would have thought they might have already done that already. So if you haven't, it's worth it. It's a great book, as I said, and I still have it here on my desk. I have the bigger unedited version of the book, and
the opus.
it's
Couple of quick ones before
Yes.
I go. Darby's going to have a fit in a minute, but I think it's very important. Summer said, very interesting, but I'm feeling rather unaccomplished.
Yeah, I'd like to
I think
talk
that's
about that.
selling yourself
Yeah,
short. Let's
yes.
talk about that on another episode.
Yes, thanks, Fiona. Well done, Fiona.
That's very kind of you, Fiona. Thank you. I think that's making life hard to win and easy to lose.
Yes.
And to raise Blay, I'm on the Aussie Camino walk. Love listening to you guys. Well, I love that. And that's what I love about the work we've done, Damo. 422 episodes divided by 20 to 30 minutes per go is 210 hours of listening, is a bit over a week non-stop, no sleep. It's like a Monday to Thursday, no sleep. And that's what happens on the Camino walk. You just walk and walk and walk until you get to the end.
Wow.
So Therese, thank you for listening. That's a great support. I reckon Therese has probably listened to all 422 episodes.
Yeah, I reckon. I'd love to know how many people have listened to every single episode. Tell us. If
That would
every
be so
episode.
good. That would be
Wouldn't
so
that be
good.
cool? That could be a world record. I definitely haven't listened to any other podcasts, all of their episodes. I have actually. I have before the dip, but that's because they don't put many episodes out.
Quality, not quantity.
Yes, that's
We're
what it is.
somewhere in the middle, aren't
Yeah,
we?
yeah.
Quality, quantity.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah. All right. Yeah, all right. Okay. Oh, Summer Daily. Oh, God. Just listening to you guys for all those hours. Oh, Summer, the best time of your life.
The best time of your life. So many happy moments. So many smiles. So many smiles.
Oh, that's too good.
Thank you.
I've got to go footy training.
Say hi to Darby and love to everybody. We'll catch you later.
See you, brother. See you, folks.
See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.